Hello and welcome back, welcome new and welcome all to Haunted House 2020. I'm a bit quiet, by the way. I don't know if you can hear me. I might want to turn down the music a bit. Okay, I think we're back. All right, hello. Welcome back to Haunted House. New runners, old runners, and viewers. We are here to do spooky stuff, spooky games. We've got a great list of runners, great list of games, and this time around we are supporting Direct Relief, which is a humanitarian aid audition active in 50 states and 80 countries to improve health and lives of people affected by poverty or emergencies, without regard to politics, religion, or ability to pay. So if you'd like to help out, we all have a donate link, which is down below, or by a command. And in approximately a few minutes, not too sure when, we will have Razorflamekun with Dungeon Heart and Full Game Hard. See you then.
Hello everyone, this is Razorflamekun, and today I'm going to be playing Dungeon Hearts Hard for you. We're going to be playing the entire difficulty, and just a side note, only 2.2% of people on Steam have beaten this difficulty. So this is one of those games where easy is normal, normal is hard, and hard is very hard. This run does have a slight chance of ending early.
Hang on, guys. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I can do that. I can turn them up. I have the live split out. Actually, what's gonna happen is you guys are gonna want to give me the countdown.
Yeah, so you can just push me live now.
Yes, you're live now. Just give me the countdown whenever you're ready. I'll do it through listen to you.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah. So this run has a 5% chance of not finishing. I have not had that happen in a marathon in over a year, so it's not gonna happen. But in terms of timing, this game is not timed with RTA, it's timed in-game time. So, but we'll still have the RTA timer going nonetheless. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, go. So this game's a match 3. You have 4 different characters. You have the warrior on top. You have the mage the mage in the middle. You have the debuffer on the bottom, and you have the healer in the middle, or the healer in the third position. So match 3, you just want to match the colors, and you want to. When you match 3 of these hero chargers, you get a hero striker, which are the diamonds. When you match 3 of the diamonds together, same color, you get a what is called a super striker. And when you blow up the super striker, it destroys the entire screen. The combo that you see, if you have more hero chargers If you have more hero charges in the combo, then it gives you higher damage outputs. After every stage, you get a bonus game where you level up your characters. In hard, it is extremely important that you get all of the matches you can, because that will increase your damage output over the course of the game pretty substantially, actually. So that's why it's really important to do that. So there's also a thing. The moving line is the fate stream, and you have enemy chargers, which are the skull and crossbones. Whenever one of those hits one of the circles on the far left, it will deal damage and will destroy that entire hero's line on the fate stream. So if one of these skulls were to get all the way to the end, and hit that hero, the hero will take damage, and then the entire line will be destroyed, and anything on that line will also be destroyed as well. So we're going to try and get that not happening. In terms of this being a horror game, this game is not a horror game, but it does have a dark twist at the end. Anyways, now you're already seeing the game getting harder. So right now we have armored strikers, armored enemy strikers. These take 2 hits to destroy. So the good thing about this is that the beginning is not that bad, but when you get to the mid game and the late game, this is when this difficulty gets very difficult. Because there's going to be more things that I'm going to have to talk about when we get to that point in the game. Another thing that is unique about this game is this game has every monster you fight either has one or two different 1 to 3 different monsters you can fight, and because of that, almost every time you play the game is going to be different. They also have different variations in the patterns that they can do. So there's a lot of variation with this game. That's where the RNG is really gonna come from in this game. I also have some skills bought on my heroes. One of which allows the opponent to get poisoned whenever I attack them. So you'll see the poison proc, which is what this screen is showing now. That's the little tier above the opponent right now. That's the poison icon. So basically, it's just your standard poison damage over time. Except in this game, I don't think it is gotten rid of very easily. Furthermore, there's also a new thing called hexes, which are the hexagonal shape. They cause several ailments, one of which is weak. I don't actually remember exactly what weak does, but what I think it does is it lowers defense all the way down to the lowest possible. So whenever they get hit, you actually lose a lot of HP. Whereas if it weren't the fighter or the warrior, or if it didn't hit the warrior is like one of the most resilient characters in the game and can actually take a lot of damage. Thankfully, the game's giving me pretty easy fights so far, which is good because this game can get pretty hectic pretty quickly. So you might have noticed that there's now squares on the screens. Squares cannot be moved. That's the main gimmick with squares. The squares, they're just stationary and can't be moved. So yeah, that's just something that we'll have to deal with, among other things. Okay, so now that's a pretty awkward pattern. Also, there are also some enemies that send a lot of enemy attacks at you, and those enemies tend to have much lower health than all the other enemies in the game. I should also mention, you've probably seen me do it already, that all of the enemy attacks can, if they're not square, can be moved. Also, you might have noticed that one of the hero attacks can destroy multiple enemy attacks. That is the case. It can also destroy multiple of the enemy chargers, which are the gray chargers that you might have seen already. Anyways, the number in the swords is the number of fights left until the final boss. And then we have the final boss, and then that's the end of the game. So there's 19 fights left. There's also going to be There's also going to be several bosses. There's going to be several mid bosses as well. But one thing you're going to start to notice is I actually did not see that hit all the way. I didn't see that hit all the way down there. This game, there's just a lot going on, and it's I'm the only runner of this game, so it's very difficult for me to commentate everything that's going on. But we'll get through it. The first good time for donations is going to be when I reach the first mid-boss. I am probably not going to be able to talk during that fight. It should be right after this fight here. Okay.
Let me know when you want me to read.
Yeah, you can just go ahead and do donations now.
Currently, no donations, but just a reminder, we are raising for Direct Relief, which once again is a humanitarian aid organisation helping people in poverty and emergency. So, for instance, stuff like the Haiti disaster, Direct Relief would have helped with that. So, if you want to donate, my link's down in the chat. Again, feel free to tell me where you can to help you out. Back to you.
Yeah. So, one thing I didn't mention is squares, since they cannot be moved, you want to focus on them, and you want to get rid of them as quickly as possible, because since they cannot be moved, you cannot delay the attack at all. So that's the reason why you want to get rid of them as quickly as possible, because since they cannot be moved, they cannot be delayed, and since they cannot be delayed, that means that it's just not a good time. So that's just something that you really want to be careful of. Another thing you might see me doing now is using single attacks. It's not recommended to do that because it's slow. It doesn't deal a lot of damage, but at this point, it's definitely it's definitely something that I need to do, especially since I'm starting to take damage. All of my characters have a decent amount of HP, so I'm not worried about them dying, but you don't want to be in a position like I am right now, where like literally everybody's taking damage every once in a while, because over time that is going to get that's just not going to be good, especially in the later levels, where you actually need to be able to deal a decent amount of damage quickly. But let's see, is that going to be the final? Is that going to be a final fight before the first mid boss? The funny thing is, this game has two mid bosses. One of them is actually called mid boss, and it's not this boss. It's the second boss, which is like 8 fights from the end, or something like that. But let's see if this is the first boss. It is, so I'm gonna be quiet. Alright, that's the first boss down. So boss fights are really dangerous in this game. On this difficulty, they can kill you very quickly, depending upon the types of patterns they give. Some of the boss patterns are extremely, extremely difficult. That one, I'd say, was about a mid-easy to normal difficulty pattern, which is fine. It was a really nice pattern to play. That's not the case with every boss. There are some bosses that just have horrible patterns that are really difficult to deal with. And it's the same with some enemies as well. Some regular enemies also have really bad patterns to deal with. But what you saw in that fight is a lot of juggling of the different colors, as well as juggling the enemy attacks so that they don't hit me, as well as being able to attack him at the same time. So that's what you're going to see a lot of in this run, is a lot of juggling of the enemy attacks throughout this entire run, and that's what actually makes this run really fun, is dealing with the enemy attacks as well as dealing with the as well as figuring out ways to match your own colors so that you can defeat your opponents quickly as well. So like I said in the beginning, this isn't really a horror type game, but it does have a dark twist at the end. I can't really talk about it without spoiling the end, so I'm not gonna. We'll talk about it right after the final boss, because that's actually when the twist happens. So this is one of the first extremely detrimental hexes. It is the bomb hex. What it does is it fills the entire row of the hero that it hits with enemy attacks and or enemy chargers. So what that means is that hero cannot be used and will take pretty much guaranteed maximum damage at the end of the whenever they get hits, because they are going to get hits. Thankfully, that fight actually is very easy, like very easy. So you don't have to worry too much about that fight, because the reason why that fight's easy is because it doesn't have that much damage. If you let that fight drag on a lot, then it can become a very dangerous fight. Thankfully, I've not missed a single level up, which is good. Do not like this pattern. One other thing you might have noticed, if you've been paying attention, is that your heck, whenever you make a hero attack, hero charger, it always appears where you where you click to make it. So you see there how it's being made on that particular click. That's how it is for every attack that you make. That's just how it does. Also, this is a really rude pattern. The good thing is, after this pattern, they give you a lot of good chances to do a lot of damage. Although this is... I had a lot of enemy attacks on one line. That could have been really dangerous. I'm fine with... you might see me actually... take damage. That damage that I just took was done on purpose, because like I said before, the warrior fighter has the literally has the most HP of every single one of your heroes in the entire game. He can take most damage, so I tend to sometimes let enemy attacks hit him, because it's actually faster to let him get hits than to try and deal with it. Okay, so I'm gonna use the first skill. This is a pretty basic skill. It's just a heal skill. The main thing to note about it is that it also removes any hexes attached to any of your characters, like any of the abilities. So that's the second skill here. The skull and crossbones, or the skull skill there, is actually a revive skill. So that's the most important skill in the game. Because it's the only... when your character dies in battle, all of their hexes turn gray, or all of their chargers turn gray and become enemy chargers. And because of that, it's very detrimental to have one of your opponents, to have one of your own heroes like that dead. The good thing is, if you can survive to the end of the fight, then they will be revived at the end of the fight if you don't have the revive skill unlocked. There is a new gimmick right now that just got introduced, and that is colored enemy chargers or strikers. So you have to destroy them with the same color that they are showing. So yellow on yellow, blue on blue, etc., etc. Okay, that was a really massive damage hit there of 12 point whatever. I don't know what the so, after like 10, the decimal point gets cut off. So that was more than a 12. It was like a 12.3 or something. But that's the power. The Super Striker, when it derives power from every single hero, charger, and striker on the screen. Anyways, this is a dangerous fight, so I'm gonna go ahead and let Kat do some donation reading.
Again, no donations so far, but if you haven't heard, we're supporting Direct Relief, which is a humanitarian aid organisation helping out in poverty-stricken countries and countries that have had emergencies in the past few years. The link is in the donate. Check it out, help us out, and thanks for supporting and watching. Back to you.
Alright, so really quickly, I'm just going to explain. The hex on the screen is the freeze hex. Whenever it reaches the very end, it will render, it'll freeze all of the hexes on the, all of the hero hero chargers of that hero and render them completely so that you can't use them. The other problem with this fight is the Fate Stream moves very quickly in this fight. And the other bad thing about this fight is it introduces the enemy attacks in hero chargers. So you might notice there's skull and crossbones in hero chargers now. That is another way that the game is screwing you over. Basically, if that hero charger reaches the end of the screen, you'll take damage. So that's why it's literally called a hero enemy striker and hero charger. It's not really. I don't actually have no idea what it's actually called, but I just call it that because it makes the most sense to call it that. But yeah, this. Okay. So you never want to see this skill used. This is a slow skill, as it says on screen. Also, get that out of here. The other problem with this fight is that she actually has a lot of HP. Thankfully, she just died, so that is probably the most dangerous fight that you'll see for a while. It's a dangerous fight, for sure. It's just one that you don't want to get if you're going for a world record attempt in this game. Also, just letting you know, world record in this, I lowered it a bit. Last time I ran this in a marathon, I lowered it in the marathon run. I don't remember the time because it happened like 6 months ago. But yeah, this fight here is another, depending upon the pattern they give, is another fight that can be actually extremely dangerous. But I actually got the easy pattern with this fight, so I'm actually happy right now because this fight on the non-easy pattern is actually really, really dangerous. Also, like I said, fighter is more than likely going to... The hero is more than likely going to get the warrior. God, sometimes I just can't talk when I'm speaking about this game. It happens. Dang, that was unlucky. I missed one of the strikers that I was going to use actually disappeared right as I was going to use it. But as you're noticing, this game does get hard. And we're getting to the second boss of the game, who is actually called mid-boss, even though it's way past midway point. I still have not missed a single level up, which is extremely good. I think in my world record I missed 1 level up, and I still got world record, so who knows. Alright, so I'm going to use another hero skill here. Whenever you see the white... Yeah, whenever you see the white stars is when you know I hit the opponents like I needed to. I did a lot of damage on that rally there. And that's what you want to do with that hero skill. Is you want to use that specific skill on a enemy that you know is going to take a long time, and you want to whittle down his HP dramatically using that. It's not really. good to use against bosses because bosses have so much HP that it's just not going to matter. Although it can still shorten boss fights as well. I just use it on on a regular enemy that I know is going to take me a couple minutes, and it saves me a couple minutes. Anyways, this is the second boss, and I'm going to be quiet. Alright, that's second boss down. I can tell when a boss is going to be dangerous. That boss was dangerous. As you can tell, the mage is almost dead. So, yeah, there are certain fights that are actually dangerous in this game. The bosses tend to be the ones that are dangerous. Also, the skill I used in that fight is the shield skill. The shield skill is basically it absorbs damage. It is the easiest way to explain what it does. So when you did see the mage get hit once after I used that skill, so basically the shield took the damage instead of the mage taking the damage. So it's good to use against opponents that you know are going to do a lot of damage. It just helps overall. It just helps overall with the damage mitigation. Although for some characters it doesn't really matter because they have so much HP that they can still take hits and not get damage. So this fight is a really interesting fight in that the enemy attacks and enemy charges tend to stick to two lines, and then these two lines alternate. As you're seeing right now, it's at the top and bottom, and then it'll go to the 2 middle, and then I'll go back to the top and bottom. And that's that fight in a nutshell. Yeah, gonna miss 1 level up there, that's fine. The main thing you don't want to have happen is you don't want to miss more than like 2 level ups, because then your damage output gets significantly reduced. To the point where it really does matter, and it can be the difference between actually defeating an opponent and actually not defeating an opponent. Also, this rabbit is somewhat dangerous, mainly due to the number of enemy attacks that it sends at you. Although, like I said, enemies that send a lot of enemy attacks at you have very low HP. One other thing I do want to mention is that I cannot read chat when I play this game. So I will look back through the VOD and answer questions that people may have later on. But I cannot do chat now. Although if Kat wants to read any questions that chat may have, I can answer them.
Questions so far, man.
Okay.
Keep you up with them.
Yeah. Just letting you know, there's gonna. I also should have mentioned this, but the dark purple enemy attacks that you're seeing now take 3 hits to destroy. They're called super armored. Super armored. That's actually not what they're called, but that's what I call them, because they take 3 hits to destroy. There's also a lot of squares, which are being pretty difficult right now. Also, every single time you see the screen not move is because I'm matching up, like you saw there, I matched up the same color, or like this, I have blue and green. That's how I am freezing the screen. I'm gonna take 1 hit there, and that's not good. So we have a death. Thankfully, the good thing is, it shouldn't be too detrimental, because this fight should be over fairly soon, I think. But it's also only 1 character. If it was more than 1 character, that's when I would start. Okay, that's really close. There we go. So she'll get revived. So and I did have enough energy for the revive skill as well. Alright, so the next boss that we're going to be fighting is the final boss. Before we get to him, I will explain him, and then there's going to be silence for that entire fight. Because it's actually tradition that it's a tradition that I started. whenever I run this game where I don't talk during that fight. And so far, that's what's happened with that. Anyways, this is a difficult fight, so I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Kat for anything he wants to say.
Once again, if you're new here, we are supporting directly. If you'd like to donate, you can type donate in the chat. I've posted it enough times now, so there. That looks cool, reminds me of Tetris, to be honest. A little bit. More of a side-scrolling type of Tetris. But other than that, enjoy the stream. Thanks for helping charity, and back to you.
Yeah, so, one other thing I usually say when I play this game on, for a marathon is, this is a port of a mobile game. Yes, they ported a mobile game to PC. So, whenever you see, me, grab something and then it not grab, or me grab the wrong thing, that's why. It's because it's a port of a mobile game, and the controls are a bit wonky sometimes. Like there. It literally wouldn't let me grab. Or it grabbed the wrong thing or something. I don't know, but that happens a lot in this game. And it's annoying, but most of the time it's not detrimental. Anyways, we have 3 fights left until the final boss. And it looks like I'm going to be keeping my streak alive of not dying in this. So what happens when you die in this game? If all 4 of your characters die in this game, you have to start from the very beginning of the game. That's why I said there's a 5% chance of me not being able to finish this run. Because of permadeath. But, I am, the reason why why I play this game on the hardest difficulty is because the other difficulties just aren't fun for me to play anymore, because they're too easy. Like, I'm not even joking when I'm saying that. They're literally too easy for me now. And that's what happens when you get super proficient at the hardest difficulty level in this game, is the other difficulties are just become child's play for you, and it's just not fun anymore. So that's the bad part about this game, is you then tend to need to play the hardest difficulty in order to actually get fun out of this game. Which does suck, but I don't mind, because I like the challenge of hard. But I also love the challenge of wonky controls as well. But we are getting very, very close to the final boss. And like I said, since I'm not going to be talking during that fight, I'm going to explain that fight before we reach him. And we're going to be reaching him very soon. So the final boss is called the Dark One. The Dark One is a giant dragon. Dark dragon that you will see when he appears. He is able to send every single hex at you in the game, including a special hex, which is called Nether Breath, which applies 3 different random hexes to your characters. Now I'm just going to focus here really quick. That's extraordinarily good. So that fight there, I also broke the music, but don't worry about that. So what happens there is that fight is extraordinarily time consuming, and I did not want to have to deal with him. Anyways, back to the Dark One. So Nether Breath is going to be a hex that you will notice very easily. It has its own distinctive marking and everything. So we will, I will explain him very soon, or you'll see it very soon, I should say. This fight in and of itself may look scary, but it's actually not. This fight here is one of the easiest fights in the game, because he gives you so much stuff to work with. But another thing the Dark One can do is the Dark One can raise and can slow and raise the speed of the Fate Stream. And even stop the Fate Stream. That's his other special ability, is he can manipulate the Fate Stream. And you'll see that in the fight, because this upcoming fight takes a while, and you're going to be seeing that fight now. So I'm going to be quiet and let you enjoy the final boss music. That's the other reason why I want I like silence during this fight, is so you can hear the amazing music by composer Sam English. So, here we go. Enjoy the music. And that is the final boss. So here's the dark twist. So after this final boss goes down, you're gonna notice that the heroes are gonna start to do this. So the dark twist is, when the dark dragon dies, your heroes also die and are reborn in the next game. So they're trapped in this perpetual motion of having to go through this game and fight the Dark One every single time you do this game. Also time. So every single time you go through this game, they're just stuck forever in this game. And that's the dark twist, and if you really think about it, that actually is really dark. But 4848, I'm just going to really quickly check, just because I can. That could be a world record. So, but I just want to confirm before I say. That is not a world record, but it's very close. The world record for hard set by me is 47 minutes, 18 seconds in game. So that was very close to the world record, 48-48. Anyways, that is really good time. So I believe up next we have, let's see. We have Die Forever up next with the 7th guest. All Puzzles 25th anniversary. So we're gonna go ahead and, unless Kat, you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, we actually got a donation. So the donation is $10 by Anonymous, and it is for a poll incentive, which is $10 to kill on Call of Cthulhu Bradley. So thank you, Anonymous, for your $10 donation.
Yep, thank you. And I do want to say to everyone that even though this is part of my run, this